What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to PlayStation Generation episode 15. My name's Matt, and I'll be your host for today's events. I'm joined, as always, by the greatest one, Mr. Court Lalonde himself. What's up, Court?
Hey, buddy. Rice said something earlier in the chat, and I really felt like it's a real thing. Like, it really feels like it's been like a month.
Yeah, dude. Like, it feels like it's been forever. It's been 2 weeks, but it feels like it's been a lifetime. How have you been, my friend? Well, before we get into the nitty gritty of everything, just how you doing?
I'm getting by. I took the daughter to a movie this weekend. We went and saw what's it? The new Minions movie.
Okay, yeah.
Despicable Me. It's Despicable Me 4. I think it's run its course. She walked out and she was like, "It was okay." I was like, "All right." It wasn't as funny as the other ones.
Mhm.
It was good, but I think the Minion movie that came out previously was better. And it's almost like when I just saw Inside Out 2, my daughter walked out and I was like, Yet we watched the first 5 Harry Potters this week in the last little bit because she's been home. Well, she's home. School's out.
Yeah,
School's out for summer. So that she likes. But like other than that, we haven't been doing much. There's not much going on. It's been a lot around here. It is what it is. I got a lot of stress right now.
Just chill vibes, That's
I wouldn't use chill vibes at all.
And of course, joined as always by the PlayStation Hokage himself, Mr. Rice. Boy, what's up, Rice?
Yo, what up, everybody? What up? What up? Good to see you, Matt. Good to see you, Court. Sorry about that stressful, stuff, Court. Man, life really happens and it pours sometimes, So love
but
you.
At least we get to look at your beautiful face to make it things just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Also, for the listeners, sorry, I apologize if you hear noises. I have a bathroom being remodeled literally on the other side of this wall.
I can't hear a thing.
Yes. The week was good.
Weeks
busy.
Multiple.
Listen. There's a saying that I heard from the streamer community. I think this was coined by a user named Anime Breaker, but he uses the term surviving. So surviving and vibing at the same time,
I'm
getting by with those chill vibes, bro. So that's Court right now. He's surviving everybody. So send all the vibes.
Oh, that's cute. You made it live on Twitter. How'd you do that?
I started doing that a few weeks ago.
Oh, hey, me paying attention.
It's all good. Yeah, folks, we're back. It's been a couple of weeks. We took some time off because of the Canada Day and the 4th of July and all the things happening. But we're back. We're ready to talk some news. We're going to talk about some PlayStation Plus, some Assassin's Creed, some Like a Dragon, which made me very happy to see Court put in the show's notes.
I put it in first, buddy, just for you.
I know, I saw it. But we have we're gonna dive into a whole bunch today. But before we do all that, let's of course, it's been a couple of weeks. We've been playing some video games. There's been stuff that's been keeping our attention. In Court, what has been doing that for you?
So I've been playing Beyond Good and Evil, the 20th anniversary. Now, I'd never played the game before. Like even when they announced Beyond Good and Evil 2, which it feels like a long time ago because it was a long time ago. What was it, like 2016? I was like, okay, I don't know what this franchise is, and everybody was talking about how like it was this thing, and I'll have to say this, as someone that played the Sly Cooper remaster on PlayStation Plus Premium, and thought that they did a very good job going into the 20th anniversary for Beyond Good and Evil. Doesn't feel like old game is old. I am very impressed. They definitely put modern controls in there. It doesn't feel like the cameras. A lot of times when they do these remasters, especially the ones that on PlayStation Plus, and kind of put an article about it, how they're having difficulties with these PlayStation 3 games and PlayStation 2 games. It feels like the camera movement is not up to what we're used to nowadays. A lot of times games have a very difficult time with that, and you get a lot of sway, and it almost feels nauseous sometimes. It's like when I first started playing VR. And I find with Beyond Good and Evil that they did a phenomenal job of putting in the modern controls. The story is very compelling. I almost wish that they did a ground up remaster. So for that, I am very impressed with this game. I'm having a really good time. I think for the price tag, it's only $40. I think that Ubisoft has done a good job there. I haven't got to the added bonuses part, but there are some fun parts to it. Like the combat is not difficult at all. So for someone who there is no difficulty settings, but you don't need it on this game. It's very easy. They do have races in the game. There's race mini games. There's a lot of stuff to find. It is definitely like the original Ubisoft. Here's the checklist. My I'll gripe on this part. There is no way to find out what you need to do. Like you can go look, but it doesn't really navigate you well to your next task. It'll show up on the map, but say in that area of the map, your task isn't there, it doesn't show up. You actually have to like get closer to where you need to go before it actually shows up on the map. So that is a little frustrating. But there are some ship mechanics where you can upgrade your ship. So there are like you can see the building blocks to a lot of games that we play nowadays because this game is 20 years old. Yet there's all these mechanics on leveling up your character, leveling up your ship, and doing the checkboxes. So I can see it was like the start of Ubisoft, and Ubisoft really hit something back then. Kind of wish I played it back then. I think they've done a great job with this game, and I highly recommend people checking it out.
I remember trying it out way back in the day, and like it didn't really resonate with me because I just don't think I understood what it was doing. But I have friends who like are diehard fans of this game, and like any whisper of what might be going on with the sequel is like always a tantalizing look at what games are at this point and in this day and age. So I don't know. I may have to go back and give this one a whirl because I am curious. I do want to see what the fever is about and why this game specifically that like you mentioned is now 20 years old. Why does this game need a sequel? What makes this so special that people are like, give us more from this? Because it does seem pretty unique. So I'm glad you're enjoying it, dude. Rice, my dude, what about you?
Yeah, honestly, I have been playing a lot of video games with my son in the past week, which has been such a joy, really.
Mortal
And
Kombat.
it's fun because we are just playing around with the controller, and he's really enjoying the DualSense. And we've been playing a ton of Astro's Playroom, just getting us super pumped for and the update of the countdown to the next game coming out. Like really nice stuff there. And he's just all about Astrobot these days. So we've been playing that. We completed that together. He likes going into the little crane machine where you break the balls, and then you get some new artifacts, and he finds that fascinating. So we're collecting artifacts at the moment. Other than that, daily driver as always, Destiny 2. But when I'm not playing that, I've actually kind of dove into some titles that I had wanted to try a while back but didn't get around to. Finally got around to trying Immortals of Avium.
Okay.
Really wanted to love it. Unfortunately didn't. They're just like there's some nice things about it, but just wasn't really a full-rounded experience that I wanted to have with it. Some really big names in terms of actors. But that said, I also tried the first Descendant.
Okay.
I have
The new
thoughts.
Nexon one?
Yeah, and it could be fun, but I still have some gripes with it. So I don't know if I've spent enough time to have a well-rounded opinion, but those are the games that I'm currently kind of diving into.
Nice. Yeah, I kind of was looking at First Descendant with like a half eye open kind of thing, but I'm always wary when it comes to anything Nexon because of their monetization and stuff. And there's just something about it that was kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, there's a bit of
ick.
There's a bit of an ick, but I'm glad you're enjoying the rest of the stuff well enough. And Immortals of Avium, I still stand by the fact that I think that if that game got a sequel, I really do feel like it could have had an Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2 moment. I feel like there could have been something special because I do think there is something in that game that just didn't completely coalesce in the original that I feel like if they had another opportunity could have done something with the sequel, but unfortunately that's
because the story in it is good.
I agree. That's what really
the world is cool.
Me.
It feels empty
the
though.
Concept was good,
and the puzzles are kind of terrible.
Again, like I feel like
the puzzles are really they suck. Like I can't even say terrible. You know what? I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. The puzzles suck. Like they almost don't need to be there. And I think bringing up Uncharted 1 is a good point because I remember when the remasters came out and you get to play them again. And I went back, I was like, why did I like this game? Like this is really bad. Uncharted 1 plays terribly. Okay, Uncharted 2 is
Right.
phenomenal, and Uncharted 3 is a masterpiece. But like Uncharted 1, it's a bad game. But I
And
think we were
Yeah,
just
yeah,
dying for a game back then, especially in the PlayStation world, because
sure.
Xbox was just eating its lunch, right?
Well, that and it was just
Yeah.
different from anything else out around it at the time, right? Like, I mean,
Yes.
like Tomb Raider hadn't gone through its reboots yet. Like, we were kind of barren for that type of game. But yeah, for myself, I've been keeping busy as well. Have a review up on the site for the new Legend of Heroes game, Tales Through Daybreak. It is fantastic for anybody who's
Hey.
ever like been curious about the series. This is a perfect jumping on point. Been playing it on Switch because that's where I got the review code. Would not advise playing it there because it runs like crap. Like quite literally PowerPoint moments at points in time. I've heard much better things about the PS5 and Steam version. So again, it isn't enough that it'll take away from the experience a lot, but it is noticeable on the Switch. But the game is fantastic. It's the series is like 11 games in now, and they're all kind of interconnected in some way, shape, or form. But this is taking us to a new country, a new area for the first time, changing up combat, and it's doing a lot to really push itself in to a new era for what is this series. And it's fantastic. It has, something I really, really like, has an older protagonist. The dude's like 24 years old. Rest of the cast is still younger, but at least, we have an older protagonist in a JRPG that like isn't just a total idiot. Like it's just, it nails everything that it's doing. The combat's fun. The story is like dark, and like JRPGs specifically have a very hit or miss relationship when it comes to dealing with things like inclusivity, and dealing with any sort of representation. And Daybreak seems like a genuine attempt at a step forward in a lot of that. They have characters from all different kinds of backgrounds, all different kinds of skin tones and skin colors. They have different characters of differing of different orientation. They like in a genuine way. There's sex workers present in the game that again, it isn't treated as a laugh or isn't treated as a bad thing. Like it's
Right.
a genuine.
They're never a bad thing.
No, it's like it's genuinely a step forward in its storytelling and what it's attempting to do compared to the rest of the series. The series has always been really good about handling darker themes and stuff, but like Daybreak is just really a genuine step forward. I've hopped back into Elden Ring, and because just because it's the Erd Tree, the Shadow of the Erd Tree hyped suckered me back in. I got to Lanedell in my original playthrough, and then I fell off. I'm at the last boss.
Let's go.
I have not beat it as of yet, but I'm at the last boss. I've had many an attempts and many a failure, but I am enjoying it again. There's no chance that I'm going to go into the DLC because I know I'm just going to get curb stomped over and over again. But at least I'm going to try and finish off what was the main experience. And then I hopped into Zenless Zone Zero this morning, the new Hoyoverse game from makers of like Genshin Impact. I got really into Honkai Star Rail when it came out. I played a lot of it for the first few weeks. And I'm enjoying it so far. I don't know if it's going to have the same effect on me that Honkai did. Honkai's turn-based battle system really, really grabbed me. The combat in Zenless is really slick so far. Curious to see how it's going to keep going with it. These gacha games, so, I'm always kind of in for a bit and then back out, but we'll see if it grabs me. But that's been what's been keeping my attention lately. But without further ado, my friends, let us hop into a world of news. And just because Court put it first, and I swear to God, this wasn't me, but just because Court put it first in the lineup, coming from VGC, written by Jordan Mindler, Like a Dragon Studio says fans will be quote unquote surprised by its next game. Ryuga Gotoku Studio has teased its next title. During the Essence of Fandom event at Anime Expo, the company teased what they are working on next. According to several fans in attendance, the studio said, "We can't tell you what kind of game it is, but I will tell you, you'll be surprised." Fans later clarified that the team seemed to be referring to the next Like a Dragon title rather than another franchise. Infinite Wealth just hit earlier this year, but for the last little while, RGG has been hitting on an annual basis. They across the different games that they have, across the remakes and everything else, they've been hitting annually, and I genuinely don't know what this means. We know Judgment, which was the kind of the spin-off series that they have, which has the traditional RGG fighting action combat, might be on ice because of the rights and the looks of the main character who was leading that franchise. And the ability of having his display, like his likeness on PC. We already got the next mainline entry. I don't know. Are we gonna get like a Dragon karting? Is this a like, we already got turn based? We already have action combat. Are we gonna get like a strategy game? That, you know what, Court? That's what I want. I want a strategy game. I want like a Fire Emblem like a Dragon Yakuza game. Mess me up with that. I'm all about it. Court tried. He tried to get into Yakuza 0.
I tried 3 of them.
Yep. Wait, which ones?
The one that was on Game Pass. What was that? Like a Dragon?
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah,
a ton of them are on Game Pass.
Like a Dragon. I was like, I just whatever. And then was it Yakuza 0?
Yep.
The other ones were on PlayStation Plus. I tried. I tried the turn-based one. I tried the action, just whatever, fight everybody. I don't care.
Fair. I understand. I appreciate that you tried. Rice, are you a Yakuza Like a Dragon boy?
They're currently on the list. I've played sections of them, just from, being friends with people who are real diehard fans. Not enough to have a strong opinion, but what I love about the series that I've noticed is anyway, as like an anime fan, the over the topness of the world, of the interactions, but also this like, kind of meaningful underlying story is what kind of drew me in. So have I played them in their entirety? No, just because I've played other games, but that's on the list to actually sit down and complete and commit to. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what's to come for all the fans out there.
Well, now I'm just completely zoned in on getting you to play like a Yakuza 0. Like I'm like, that's my new mission. I have no other point in life, and that's all I'm going to be doing for the next little while is badgering you about that. But yeah, I'm stoked to find out what this is. I'm sure we're going to get an announcement by the end of the year because again, they've been hitting annually for the last little while without a miss. So I'm curious to see what this is going to be. If it's a roguelite, if it's a strategy game, if it's a dancing simulator, whatever it is, I will be there.
Dancing simulator makes way more sense.
It would not surprise me.
That for sure.
The karaoke stuff is all over it. Yeah, maybe Like a Dragon Just Dance, and you would have to play with your daughter. So
and then you could throw it on Switch.
Yeah, I don't make the rules. Our next story is very much a court story because Ubisoft CEO confirms that multiple Assassin's Creed remakes are in the works. This is coming from ourselves over at Console Creature by good old Dennis. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot has confirmed in an interview multiple Assassin's Creed remakes are in development at the company, according to a blog post on Ubisoft websites. Quote unquote, players can be excited about some remakes, which will allow us to revisit some of the games we've created in the past and modernize them. There are worlds in some of our older Assassin's Creed games that are still extremely rich. The goal is to have Assassin's Creed games come out more regularly, but not for it to be the same experience every year, Guillemot said in the Q&A session. Nothing has been announced officially, but according to a report from last year, one of those games will be Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Court, what do you want? Are you looking for straight remakes here? If you have to go into the back catalog, Black Flag seems like a lock. What else? What else do you want from here?
Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood. It's like all day, every day. I want them from the ground up. Especially, I wouldn't even mind going back and doing Assassin's Creed 1 because that game sucked. Like, there's another perfect example of a game that was not good. Especially, a lot of the missions were bugged. It didn't even make sense. There was one where you had to sit on a bench while following this Pope guy, and it just never worked. Like like you had to like literally do it wrong for making it to work. So I would love to see what they can do from AC1, but from my understanding and from our conversations that I had when I was at Ubisoft Montreal about Mirage, pretty much Mirage is AC1. They were going to it almost sounded like the way they were describing it to us at the launch party was they were going to do AC1 from the ground up, and then they did Mirage, which I totally get. That's fine, but AC2 is in Italy. You're in Rome. Yes. They have the Colosseum. There's the undergrounds of Rome. There's so much awesomeness in AC2 that I would love a from the grounds up redo AC2, put in the modern spin that you did with Mirage on how you do the traversal and you do the combat, get back to the parry combat, but have that same traversal system that they put into Mirage, put that into AC2, but like do the glow up like nobody's business of Italy, so you get to see all the sights. I think that would be unbelievable because I still think Unity doesn't need one. As much as people dogged on that game, after the game only really just sucked on PC, but that's fine. That's just my opinion. I didn't have any bugs while playing that game, and I thought that game was beautiful. I don't think it needs it, but Brotherhood and AC2, I think need it more than any other game out there.
I'm with you. I would love to see AC2. I would similarly love to see the original. I think that original had something special to it. While it, again, similarly, bringing this up the second time this episode, Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2 was the same thing as Uncharted 1 to 2. It's a massive jump in terms of quality, in terms of storytelling, in terms of gameplay. So I'd love to see those come back. Do you think we get the full trilogy though, or do you think they do something of like they almost like roll parts of these games in together to make like one definitive edition?
So I
Do you know
think
what
Black
mean?
Flag is coming for sure, especially because Skull and Bones. Yeah, it wasn't good. Like it's just, but they had to bring it out. The Singapore government was like, "You're releasing this game," but I truly think they would have scrapped it and they would have went to AC Black Flag. People love Black Flag. I think a lot of the charm around Black Flag was it was the launch PS4 game. Like that makes that really does push something. When you have a launch game, everybody had it. You could either get it on the PS3, but almost everybody I know when they got their PS4, the first game they were playing was Black Flag. It looked beautiful, the water. I do think there's issues with Black Flag still. It still had a lot of the duck and cover missions that I can't stand from Assassin's Creed games, the follow missions. It had a ton of those that didn't work out very well, but Chris, he is a great character, but he's not as good as Ezio Auditore. Like not even remotely close. If he was, they would have done more with him. And I also think Connor from Assassin's Creed 3 is a phenomenal character that I wish they could flesh out more and they could do more, especially that game. There was a lot of huge
that didn't get a lot of love.
Exactly.
There was a lot of that game was the one that ended the franchise for me. Like for a while,
it was very slow at the beginning, and I get it.
Well, that and just the friggin' escort missions. There was one mission that literally like took me out so bad that I literally put the game down, sold it, and never went back. Like it wasn't until like really Valhalla that I bought back in because
I get it,
killed it.
But I think you could almost do like my hope is that when they redo Black Flag, they're going to be putting in all the DLC in, and one of my hopes is what you could do with Assassin's Creed 3 is redo it from the ground up, but add Liberation in there, which was on the Vita, which coincide with it, which was also a phenomenal game, and maybe let us choose between the two characters. But
sure,
I really like Connor as a character, and his story was phenomenal. And I just think what they tried to do with that game, it wasn't ready for the console. There was such huge set pieces and huge battles that just didn't look that good. And when you go back and play like their remake of it, it still doesn't look that good. And if you look at the historical period of that game should have been huge, and it just wasn't. Black Flag, I think, will sell no matter what. But I think people, a lot of the nostalgia around it is because it was a launch game. It really, I mean, AC does a very good job of making sure their games are launch games for new consoles.
Right.
Right. So where are you on this remake train?
Yeah, I'm in and around what you guys are saying here. I mean, the Ezio series was just so great. 2 was essentially why I stayed loyal to the franchise. And kind of the mechanics that, like you said, the step up from 1 to 2. And even the relationship between Desmond, Altair, and Ezio, how intertwined those stories were, they really, really hit it home for me. I don't know. Black Flag will sell. It wasn't my favorite, even though a lot of people really loved it. I think maybe also the appeal of naval warfare and kind of that mechanic was attractive to some people. Not necessarily for me, and I guess that's a matter of opinion, but people really love that. That's the feedback that I got from the community that I was a part of, and they really enjoyed that. And I think they kept trying to do that in the next games as well, but didn't quite hit as much as the Black Flag mechanics. Plus, I don't know, everybody talked about just getting all of those sea shanties and like all day. That's what they talked about.
And they were terrible. So maybe, who cares, man? I turned that off. I don't want to hear that stuff.
Think everybody, there were so many people that were just like, oh, I got to get all the shanties. I'm like, bro, that's like the one thing that I wasn't doing. But, to each their own. You love what you love.
100%. Yeah, similarly, Rice, the naval combat was what turned me off of Black Flag as well. As much as I love like pirates, the ship combat and stuff, I'm kind of like
the buried treasure missions though on Black Flag were awesome.
Yeah, I like those missions as well.
I don't think I spent more than a couple hours with Black Flag.
I platinumed it, but like still, I have my issues. But like I played the living day. I platinum most AC games, but it's not. I'm right there with you, Rice. It is not in my top. Like everybody always like, oh, it's the best. I'm like, is it though? Like AC2 is probably one of the best AC games, top
Yeah.
to bottom. And then Brotherhood is still like, it's
Brotherhood.
it
Yeah.
is so good. And then you've got
Revelations.
Sorry,
Yeah, totally.
Revelations is very good as well. But I would still think like, you know, Origins and those are good too. Like Black Flag's there. It's not even in my top 3.
Nah.
So then, Court, when do you think we see the first remake? Because assuming that
this fall,
you think
I think they're gonna. It'll be like the
year?
December. I think they're gonna try and we're gonna get the new AC game, right? We're gonna get a new
November,
AC game this year in November. I think they either bring it out before then to start the hype train, because remember, it's not gonna be a full price. I think if they're gonna bring us back Black Flag, it's not gonna be a full price, or it's early next year so that Ubisoft can hit the train. Like you love this AC game, come and get to this, because a lot of the times they do with these remasters and remakes, they make them a part of like they're free if you get the season's pass. So I'm very curious. They do that a lot. They always add them to the season's pass.
So do you think that we're getting more of a remaster here? Because the way this reads to me is like I was expecting like a full from the ground up.
I think we're getting a remaster.
Ooh, see, I don't know. See, for me, I think it's like a full on remake, and that'll probably be their next year's Assassin's Creed game.
I hope I'm wrong. I'm just looking at what they've done, and they did this with Far Cry as well. They do glow ups, and they do a good job with it. But I think you could do, if you're gonna from the ground up, I think you do AC2 and you start the whole Animus story all over again. It'd be tough for me to like go just to Black Flag as your starting point.
Okay.
Because as much as Chris says Edward Kennedy he's a great character, he's also a dick and annoying half the time when he talks. So I don't know.
I think that was the appeal.
Yeah, he's just like annoying. It's just like, hey, I get enough angst from my music. I don't need it from my video game. It's like he reminds me of Delson in Infamous every now and then. I'm just like, hey, dude, just shut up. Okay, stop talking.
He was kind of just he was rough around the edges, didn't really have purpose.
No, he made no sense.
And
That's
so
why you
like
never got to see him again.
Yeah, well, we'll keep keep it locked. We'll keep everybody posted as we find out more. Let's keep the news train rolling to a PlayStation Plus rundown for the essential games that are available for the month of July. This is once again coming from us up here at Console Creatures, and I think this is maybe I did this one. I wrote this one. We're getting Borderlands 3 for PS4 and PS5, NHL 24 for PS4 and PS5, and Among Us for PS4 and PS5, along with a Genshin Impact PlayStation Plus pack. And of course, the major selling feature of this month is if you get a 12-month PlayStation Plus membership, you also get movie credits for Sony Pictures Core. So that exists, and they try to remind you about it. But that is our rundown for this month. I think it's an okay month. Not any one of these really does anything for me. Borderlands is a franchise that I've tried to get into multiple times, and it's never really stuck the landing. NHL 24, everybody knows I'm like a massive sports and hockey fan.
The biggest.
Yeah, like the biggest one. So I obviously, like this one for me is water under the bridge. And Among Us just feels kind of late. Like, I understand they're probably timing this. They had that update, introducing new characters and stuff to use, but like, this feels like a couple of years too late to be hitting here in any meaningful way.
I would even say NHL 24, as a huge hockey fan, to give it to us when the playoffs are over, it's kind of weird. And especially when it was on EA Play like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago now. Like, this was a weird one. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, the Hockey Ultimate Team is over. So why? This is just I've been banging the drum of how good they've been doing with PlayStation Plus, and then when I saw this announcement, I was like, okay, sure. Like Borderlands, if you haven't played it, sure, at least you can jump into it. I like the Borderlands franchises. This game's all right. It's not the best one in the series, but NHL, even for me as a hockey guy, I was like, why? Why give it to us when it's over?
Yeah, I don't know. This far, like, I've kind of weirdly stopped looking forward to the essential games as much. Like, it's almost like the effect that Game Pass had on like Xbox's monthly, like the games with gold or whatever. Like, I've kind of stopped focusing on it as much, especially when you compare it to the onslaught of games that hit with extra and I guess premium more so every month. That like the essential games have kind of started feeling less important and less of a focus for PlayStation. Like they
And
obviously
maybe
still
they
want.
should be. Like maybe
Sure.
kill it. Like I know people will get mad, but maybe kill it with fire and push more towards the service. And if we can get better games in PlayStation Plus, if we just get rid of Essentials, I'm all for it.
I think for me, like I would rather
Yeah.
them just kill Essential. If you need to charge for online, put like, because that was one of the whole things with Essentials price raise, right? Is that you need it for online and you don't get any more value. Drop the price for online for just online access to be able to play with friends online and focus on extra and premium, because Essential just kind of feels like it's there and it's way too expensive for what you get for it.
Yeah, like add EA Play, and they've already got Ubi in there. Like add EA Play there, and we would have got the like. There's your value. I don't know. Like EA Play isn't bad. It really isn't. Like we is on Xbox, we just take it for granted. But
I also think it depends. Like I think the Ubisoft and the EA ones that are like you get the new games day and date, I don't think those are on console yet. But
no,
like they're on PC, which I wish that they were on console, because if I could get like a rounded out package of like here's all the new Ubisoft, EA, and PlayStation Plus all rolled into one, like I'd get on that. But yeah, I don't know. Rice, where are you at on this month?
Meh. I mean, I do love I do like love the Borderlands series, but where I loved it fell into Borderlands 2. The Handsome Collection specifically. And like I played so much of that game, and when Borderlands 3 came out, I was like, this could have been a DLC.
Yeah.
And there wasn't really much that, I mean, Chris says they're prepping for the Borderlands movie, and that's probably true.
Yep.
Not that I'm too excited about
When's that
I
coming
will
out?
see
Yeah,
it
when's that
just
coming
because
out?
it's Borderlands. But I mean, Among Us, I mean, come on. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that really adds anything for me. And then NHL, listen, I am also a big sports guy, as everybody knows. And
huge.
Like
no, but if
I
there's
wish
any
sport
sports
like
game
sports
that I
like
actually
Rice
like
and I do.
played so much of with friends, it would have been NHL. So that one people
You being
will
Canadian and playing NHL, I am shocked.
Truth.
Gamer Graham in the chat. I'm like everyone, meh.
Yeah,
Borderlands
Tiny Tina was way better. He's not wrong. That is a good game. And that's that is turn-based at some points, and I still like that game. But Borderlands 3 was, I played it. It was like, I think it was like $15 at Christmas time and on sale. I grabbed it. I played it for a couple hours. I'm like, thank God I didn't pay full price.
Yeah, I think I saw somewhere, we don't have it on the news roundup here, but like I think I saw a tweet or something that it's like, or maybe it was on Reddit, that this month is like the lowest dollar value for Essential for the games that you've gotten in a long time, in terms of like if you just bought these games outright or bought them on sale. Like this month is the worst one in quite a while, which is interesting. But yeah, I think it's whatever. It's fine. I'm curious to see. It's fine. We should be getting extra and premium in the next week or two. So please be excited for that. Something that we're not going to be getting, at least at the time of writing, coming from VGC, written by Jordan Midler. Sony's Horizon Netflix series is reportedly not moving forward. It's unclear if it will progress with a different creative team. The project, which was being developed by the Umbrella Academy showrunner Steve Blackman, was reportedly stalled, according to Rolling Stone. There was the report. This reporting was part of a wider article that accused the showrunner of "quote unquote" toxic, bullying, manipulative, and retaliatory behavior. It's unclear if the series will move forward with a different creative partner or if the project has been entirely scrapped. Horizon Zero Dawn is an exceptionally well-crafted game with wonderful characters, not often seen in the rank and file of the gaming world, Blackman said at the time of the show's announcement. Sony is still working on God of War with Amazon, but yeah, Blackman had a couple projects just outright canceled after Rolling Stone's article had hit. Basically, of everything that he had been accused of.
So he's an asshole.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Okay.
So I don't know. The question is, and like we have a reader question about this coming from Nagachaka. Nagachaka writes in saying, rumor has it that the Horizon Zero Dawn TV series at Netflix has been canceled. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? If it is true, who should handle a TV series for the property, or should it just be a movie instead? Rice, where are you at on the Horizon Zero Dawn show debacle?
Yeah, this one is an interesting question. I don't know that people will necessarily like this take, but I don't know that I really wanted one. I quite just want to leave that as my experience in the games, but there is an argument for kind of giving more life to the universe and to the characters that we fell in love with. But and there would even be room to improve the plot and improve whatever kind of notes that I would have had for the games. But I don't I don't know that if an asshole was heading it up and that's not happening anymore, cool. And I certainly hope that if someone does decide to take this up, that it would be someone that cares a lot about the IP and cares a lot about what gamers have fell in love with in terms of the franchise. But yeah, I don't know that I have like a really big desire for a show for it. But I could be swayed. Who knows?
I don't disagree with you, Rice. Like Horizon Zero Dawn as a property, and I think Steve nails this in the chat. Netflix simply doesn't have the budget to do a fully realized Horizon series. Last night's episode of House of the Dragon showed HBO could do it justice. And similarly, Gamer Graham in the chat, I would love to see Horizon take place where the world fell, not focus on Aloy.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. I don't 100%. Want Aloy. I don't care for it.
I have no problem with the idea of what the show could be, but like the CGI would just be such a massive tentpole, and like the costume design and everything else. And I feel like it stands a chance of just not looking right. And I feel like with something like Horizon, which, I feel like you need to nail, I feel like it could just be a misstep. I don't think movie is the right answer for it either, because I think it would just feel rushed. It would take way too long to be able to tell a cognizant story, unless, again, they just completely told a different story in this universe, or even a different Aloy story that wasn't what we know and expect. I think
you could technically, not to give away anything, you could technically have Aloy in it, but not be Aloy.
100%.
And you could do the whole beginning thing and still finally like whatever, end it with the machines. And we won't call it Terminator because I feel like the movie's already been made, but like without the time travel part. But like you have a better chance and then a less of a budget. But
I don't know, like Rogue One it. Like tell the story, like even if you know that for people coming from the video games that this probably will not end well for a lot of these characters involved, that doesn't take away the heart or the soul that the show could have.
So we're watching House of the Dragon right now. We know they're all going to die.
and that's what I mean, right? Like do something special with it. I think Sony will let it lay. I think they've seen too much success with their TV and even their movie stuff. Like I think The Last of Us and Twisted Metal and even Uncharted now coming back for a second movie, I think they've seen that these can work.
Hot take, that Uncharted movie was good. I'm sorry, I liked it. I don't know what about it. I enjoyed it. Okay. It was fun. It was fun.
It was fine. It was okay. Like again, I hope they'll glow up for the second movie, follows the games. Third time in this episode that I bring that up. But I feel like there's something that could be there. But I don't think they're gonna let it lay. And also like just bring on a female showrunner. Like if you're going to have a show about a female lead character, like make it so that somebody understands what she's going through better than just another straight white dude being brought into the saddle. Like do something interesting with it. So I don't know. I'm not upset at the current state of the show, because like I said, if an asshole is in the lead chair, get rid of the asshole, figure it back out. But I am curious to see what follows, because I don't think they're just gonna let it lie.
Yes.
But yeah, Court, any further thoughts or feelings?
No, I'm having a hard enough time just watching the new season of The Bear because I don't have enough time to watch TV. So I'm okay.
Understandable. Let's keep the show rolling over onto some PS3 news coming from PlayStationLifestyle.net. PS3 emulation on PS5 will remain difficult, tech experts say. This is written by Zarmina Khan. Following rumors that Sony's bringing select PS3 games natively to PS5, tech experts have said the task at hand remains a difficult one, and fans should keep their expectations in check. Folks over at Digital Foundry reckon that some popular games will be near impossible to emulate. Digital Foundry has corroborated this with a widely accepted reason for PS3 games can't run natively on the PS5, the former complex architecture. The team says that the PS3 cell processor SPUs don't work well with modern x86 processors, and games that heavy SPU usage will suffer from major performance issues. The emulation community has already tried and tested the above. Digital Foundry named Killzone 2 as one of the games that will not be able to make its way to the PS5 natively. So this is kind of not a surprise. We've known for a long time. It's even why PSN can be as archaic as it is because it was built on an infrastructure that was at the time wildly complicated and unnecessary. But like, Court, where does Sony go with PS3 here? Because again, it's something that's so heavily requested, but seems impossible, or at least difficult.
I think they're gonna have to make a choice with regards to, Resistance, Killzone, and Infamous. I think those are the ones all of us. They brought back pretty much everything else. They're gonna have to make a choice. Are you going to remaster from the ground up any of these games to let us have them again? And which ones you're gonna do? Like for me, you either do Resistance 2. If you're gonna do the Resistance series, bring it back. It's fine. You can miss the first one. It's okay. People will get over it real quick. And then I'll say this till blue in the face. Like, just give me Infamous, you pieces of garbage. Like, just give me the goddamn game. Like, I'm getting angry at this point. And then with Killzone is a great franchise. Actually, it's interesting. We were talking about TV shows. I think Killzone would make a better TV show than Horizon would. And 2, they're in the same world. So you can have as many Horizon Easter eggs as you want. And if they say they're not in the same world, then you haven't played the newest Horizon game. So you can just stop. Like, they're the same world. But I think the Killzone games were really cool, and they're shooters, and Sony needs a shooter. So why don't you redo one of the Killzone games? And then you got SOCOM, but we're never going to get it. So I give up.
Yeah. I also think that PlayStation just hasn't made backwards compatibility and the special collection much of a focus. I think like the premium titles, the way that they've been brought back is evident of that. I just don't see
especially Sly Cooper, because it gets janky as the game goes. It gets real janky.
Yeah, I just don't see them investing the time and the money into doing this properly, especially
because they can't make a profit.
They won't make a profit, and like I feel like the demand for it will just lessen over time, if I'm being honest.
You don't have to be honest. There are numbers that have backed this up. I know when I was doing an Xbox show, we looked into this. Everybody really wants backwards compatibility, but guess what? No one does anything with it or uses it or plays it. The numbers are staggering how no one gives a damn. But everybody will yell until they're blue in the face that they want, game preservation and we want backwards compatibility. But when these games come out, no one buys them. No one plays them. No one cares.
No.
Bryce, where are you at on this?
No. Yeah, same deal, right? Like our current experiences with our current tech are already oversaturated, and this culture of how can we keep up with so many of these experiences, report on them, and have a really good, well-rounded opinion about them. Having that backwards compatibility, that argument is really just, I think, from a consumer kind of public perspective, is the entitlement of investing in the ecosystem for so long, and so they feel like we feel like we deserve that because we've invested in it for so long. But absolutely right, Court, like given that feature was given to us, given that these games were really they could run on the systems that we have, people would be like, oh cool, we got it, and play the next most recent AAA experience on the PlayStation.
100%.
So you're right. The need for it's not there, but there's a lot of noise about it, which is kind of hilarious.
I do think that there is a genuine I do think game preservation is incredibly important. I just don't think PlayStation cares to do it in a way that's meaningful. I think if they actually put in the money and the time behind and the teams behind to do this in a way that matters, I do think I'm sure there's some way that it could be figured out. I just don't see it mattering to them, and I think that's unfortunate. And I feel like a lot of their older titles will remain locked to physical hardware only because they don't want to put in the time and the effort to figuring it out.
I don't think it's the time and I truly think it's the money. Like,
probably,
unfortunately, as much as we're doing a PlayStation branded show, like they can't do something unless there's money involved. And I think the numbers say there isn't. Like Xbox, all they got was positive publicity around it. They didn't make any money around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they're going to do. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if like Court said, we got a handful of select titles that they put in the time and the effort to kind of bring over. But I don't know if this is going to be a wide sweeping affair that I think a lot of people would want it to be. Let's hit a couple more quick stops before we get into questions, because PlayStation Stars is finally back after being gone for a month. Coming from VGC, written by Tom Ivan, PlayStation Stars loyalty scheme returning after a month of unavailability. The service has been out of action since early June, and Sony has failed to specify why. We're aware of an issue with PlayStation Stars and are actively working on a solution, the company said last month. In an update on the PlayStation Stars site this week, Sony said the service will be coming back in the near future. PlayStation Stars will be returning soon in phased regional rollouts. It said, "Thank you for your patience, and we look forward to welcoming you back." This story for me was one that I kept meaning to bring up on the show and genuinely kept forgetting about, which I think is inherently just part of what PlayStation Stars is. What the hell happened? It still doesn't
work.
Disappeared.
So it still doesn't work in Canada. It also disappeared during Days of Play, and they have since bring out a statement saying they ain't going to do anything about it. They ain't going to retroactively do anything. And for me, my only issue I have with that is if you have purchased a game, those points that you would have accumulated during that time, you do not retroactively get them back.
I hope we keep the points that we had.
No, I 100% agree with you, but I'm also scared. I also feel bad, not scared. I feel bad for the people that might have purchased games during that time, and you don't get those points. Anything that was going on during that time, you don't get any of it. Like, it's just, it gone. It is what it is. And I think that sucks. That's bad behavior. That is bad behavior on Sony.
I just want to know what happened.
Obviously, you made a comment earlier about how the infrastructure was built on the PlayStation 3. That happened, okay?
Fair.
The infrastructure the infrastructure had a baby. The baby didn't sleep for a bit, and everybody fell asleep at the wheel. Like, that's just it. It's just there's poop everywhere, man. There's poopy diapers. It's bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very, very, very curious to see.
I'm more laughing at guess what? We don't. Oh well. Like, the Reddit. If you go into the Reddit, that's where it all happened. All these people were like, "Hey, like, are we gonna get this? Gonna get that?" And PlayStation's like, "Yeah, no." And they were like, well, "What if we spend money?" They're like, "Cool."
Too bad.
They're like, "Well, what about your Days of Play that like literally crashed the system and all the stuff that you were gonna give us and all these extra points?" They're like, "Yeah, cool. Yeah, we're not going to do that either." And they're just like, what? So I think their idea of this Days of Play that was going to give us all these extra points in PlayStation Stars and have all this stuff just destroyed the system. They all the DDoS attacked themselves. And they're like, well, we can't give that thing again because it already broke it the first time. So nope. And we'll never see it again. It's still a convoluted system that makes absolutely no sense. For the longest time, we could only get to a certain level. And then they brought this level system back. And then, like, my funniest part about the whole system, and I know Gamer Graham was in the chat, he's probably full level all the way on this thing. There's a part to level yourself up that you have to get a certain type of rare trophies. Well, guess what? Those trophies change whether they're rare or not. So you could have accumulated some. And then as more people accumulate it, you lose that you had these. It's so dumb.
But
doesn't make any sense. Just so you can get better customer support when your PlayStation breaks.
That's what.
Come on, man.
If you get to level 4, you'll get better customer service. Come on, bro. That's where
I'm stressed out. I ain't gonna be nice today. There's no nice.
No.
This is a shitty service, and they need to be better.
Gamer Graham in the chat. It's not confirmed that we won't get towards our purchase, but not confirmation either way. So
Gamer Graham, they said on Reddit that they don't think they're going to be getting us. We can not confirm it, but they said they don't think. That means we're not getting it.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if they're even really going to touch on this at all. Like, if it's just going to come back and they're going to be like, there is no war in Ba Sing Se. Like, nothing.
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
Sony.
Yeah. Like, I wonder if they're just going to be like, yeah, everything's fine.
They'll put out a blog post on the release of the next big game and then be like, I hope you didn't see that.
Probably.
When's Astro come out?
September.
There you go. We'll get a blog post on that date saying, here's how it's your PlayStation Star stuff. Sorry. Yep. There's no way. If the system was down, there's no way that they're going to be able to get back and figure out what you did and all that and accumulate it. There's no. So whoever has this idea that that's going to happen, guess what? No, that ain't happening. Sony ain't going to pay money to figure out to get you your points back on a system that they put in there just so you can be like, look, here's a new thing that I can watch click up and down. Like, Now,
So
Yeah,
Graham says you can request your data and star stuff in there. Let's hope. I would love to be proven wrong.
I mean that thing that still doesn't work.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, whatever.
Couple
Ain't
more
gonna
quick
happen.
hits because I added in a couple more things. PlayStation is coming back to Tokyo Game Show, coming from Jordan Miller over at BGC. Sony has not had a major presence at the show since 2019. It's going to be Sony will be attending the largest ever Tokyo Game Show. It's going to have a whole bunch of booths and a whole bunch of stuff going on. The reason that I wanted to bring this up is, it's TGS is end of September. There is going to is there something that's going to be there?
Yes, Death Stranding and Astro. Come on now.
No, but those are already going to be out. Like I'm saying, is this where we're going to see the actual physical rumored PlayStation 5 Pro? That's my point. Do you know what I mean? Like, are they going to have something physical on the show floor that they want people to see? You know what I mean, Rice? What do you?
I know what you mean, and I actually really like what you're thinking. I just don't. I don't know. I don't have much reason to kind of believe that that's gonna go anywhere. Maybe that's just recency bias with like the state of play and kind of the lackluster feelings that people had towards it, especially in comparison to the other stuff that came out. I'm reluctant to believe that there is something. But I hope you're right. I hope you're right, man. Give us something, bro. Like as a loyal
throw us a freaking bone here,
consumer, man. Just like give us,
See, I'm going full tinfoil hat. Like this is the end of September. If the showcase is happening, if there's a showcase or a bigger state of play in September, like maybe they'll have more to show, maybe they'll have more to talk about, both physically and digitally. My hopes are now increasing that September may be the month that we've been waiting for to finally see what's behind the curtains. I might be wrong, probably wrong.
Do they match the drapes?
We're gonna find out. And one last little news tidbit, because I thought this was really cute, coming from the PlayStation blog itself. Astro's Playroom's second update is now available, hiding a new special bot in game. So the last update hid a special bot, Lady Maria. I'm not going to go through this article at length because they actually completely show you how to get to her. But what they do kind of talk about, and it's like this whole like long puzzle thing. June is going to get Lady Maria. July is dropping, the one that dropped today is going to get you Celine from Returnal, and there's still two more that last.
Well, I'm pretty sure the September is Ape Escape, and then let's be honest here. That's and then August is,
I don't know, Big Daddy.
That's what I think. That looks like BioShock to me, but that's not a PlayStation first party, right?
No, it isn't. So I don't know what this could be, but like they confirmed that these characters.
Who's not in the game? We can do this. So Ratchet and Clank's in the game, because if you go in now, and Kratos is in the game, Aloy's in the game, because all these characters are in the game now. Because I went back and I was like, wait a second, and then I was like, yep, they weren't there before. So if we've got Bloodborne, you guys are never getting your remaster. Just get over it. Death Stranding. Oh no, Returnal, and then you got Ape Escape. So is it a PlayStation 3 game is that Fat Princess? There we go. That's Fat Princess.
I don't know. There's something about this that looks pretty helmet-y. You know what I mean? Like this looks like a helmet.
Yeah, it's Fat Princess.
I don't know. There's something
there
about
are bots in there that aren't first party anymore.
Yeah.
No, there's Ratchet, but they were at the time. Because Banjo's in there now, and all those, like there's a bunch of new characters in there. Not Banjo, sorry. What's his name? Crash.
Okay. I was gonna say Banjo. Yeah, I don't know, but this is cool because they confirmed that if you get these characters in Astro's Playroom, they will join your starting party in the new Astro game. They move to Astrobot. So they'll move with you to Astrobot. So like you have an incentive to hop back in and do this over the course of leading up to Astrobot, because these characters will be part of your party when you get to Astrobot on September 6th. So I thought that was just a really cool way to incentivize people to hop back into the original, while also just showing some love. Yeah. So if you're curious, the PlayStation blog has the full rundown of how to get the Bloodborne character, and then I'm sure you can find more on the line on how to get the Celine. But let's hit a couple questions to round out our show today. Ed Varnell from the Boss Rush Network at that retro code writes in, from PS1 to PS5, what are your 3 personal favorite cutscene / FMV moments? For me, Kingdom Hearts 2, the battle on the clock tower, bro. that entire FMV, all of the Kingdom Hearts FMVs, like the Keyblade War, insane. Like so much there. The original Assassin's Creed unveiling trailer, like that one where it was all CGI, but it was like in the market square, you see him moving through, he assassinates and stuff. Those are some of the ones that instantly come to mind when I think of like FMV cutscene moments of just like unbelievable hype. And obviously like a lot of just Uncharted, because it's like this, like it's almost an in-between. But I think like those ones are just really, really cool. Like the Kingdom Hearts one, I think are probably some of my favorite cutscenes, secret movies, FMVs ever, because they just live in my memory still.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any that come to mind?
I'm definitely Uncharted, and it's just easy. I'm sorry, it's just and Assassin's Creed, they're so damn good. Honestly,
I
just
have some
assassinating
obscure
people, right?
ones. Well, they're not really obscure, but for those who love the genre, I actually really liked some of the Devil May Cry stuff, man. A lot of those action games do have some kind of anime-esque scenes, and that I really enjoyed. And one thing that came to mind as you were even talking about Kingdom Hearts there, Matt, I thought of Final Fantasy
Yes.
7, Sephiroth in front of the flames, dude. Like that moment right there lives rent free in my mind. So, yeah, a ton of things in that franchise for sure.
Yeah, I think it's just they do some really cool stuff, some really special stuff.
Mhm.
Gamer Graham at GTM618 in the chat with us saying, repeat listener, repeat questioner. Who would win in an epic beatdown, Astrobot or Sackboy, and why? And I will quickly say, Astrobot washes Sackboy any day.
Oh my god, he uses him as toilet paper, like
all
and he
day,
did, like,
bro.
Like he literally, oh my god, he would tear him into shreds and then burn him. Like he would rip him in half and then jump up in the air with a little and just set him on fire.
Yep.
Like Sackboy would get the daylights pounded out of him. Like
you
get the sand kicked out of him.
him.
Like you would just see him go off screen, and then like you would hear a rip, and Sackboy's little tuft of head would kind of roll across the screen. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Astro Boy would hand Sackboy every thread he's ever had.
Oh yeah,
like,
would destroy him.
It would
Sackboy fans out there, we're not sorry.
No, not at all. I'm sorry, bro, but like
Astro could turn into any character in the PlayStation universe. Sackboy
has costumes.
Yeah, his costumes, exactly. Astro literally can turn into the character. It's over.
Yeah, like he washes his lunch even before we get to Astrobot.
Yeah.
And our final question coming from Steve Igvari at Igvari saying, "Hi, PlayStation Generation." There you go, Steve. Long time, first time. You're offered $1 million, but for the rest of your life, the smartest snail with resources, including advanced thoughts, cash, tech, etc., is after you. If it catches you, you die immediately. Do you take the money?
So, no, because the only reason is $1 million isn't a lot of money. It's just not worth it. Like it's just not worth it. Like it barely pays off some people's mortgages. Like no, man. Like it's not worth death. But if the snail catches you, what if I catch the snail and step on that bitch? Like,
but it says if it touches you, but that means like
no. Does it say touches or it catches you? It's totally two different things.
I thought it said.
If it's touch, then yeah, you're dead. I would.
Does it say catches or touch?
Catches you.
What if I catch it and step on that bitch? Like it's over. I don't care what tech it has. The snail, right?
That's true, man.
We can have all the resources in the world, but I'm killing little Turbo with a smile on my face. Like it's just. But like I said, as a parent, that's funny for parents.
I like Court's villain arc today.
Yeah, Court's on one today.
Tired and stressful. It's just not worth it. If I'm going to die and my family doesn't, he no longer has my income to support it, it ain't worth it over $1 million in a stupid little snail.
Yeah,
you're right.
If we're talking like 500 mil, or if we're talking a bill, because the thing is, I feel like most of that million would go into just trying to protect yourself from the snail. Like most of that would be a snail defense fund that you have to start immediately. I don't think $1 mil is enough to justify, regardless. Again, if this thing has all the possibilities in the world to get at you, it can hire people, it can do whatever it wants. It's not worth it for $1 mil. $1 mil will not get you anything anymore. Like you can barely buy you a house in Toronto. Good luck even hoping that it could buy you an apartment.
That barely. It can't buy you a house in Toronto.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I feel like
it's produce in groceries. That's what you get for $1 million.
You can maybe buy a couple groceries at Loblaws for that amount of money.
Yeah, seriously. You need to up it next time there, Steve. Like, think about that, Matt. Think about that, Steve. That ain't a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's $1 million. It's like in Austin Powers when he says $1 million and everybody starts laughing. Like, yeah, whatever. We'll give you $1 million.
Yeah,
whatever.
It's not worth it. We need much more money to be even contending
In this
with that battle.
economy,
Yeah,
in this
seriously,
economy.
in this economy.
That brings us to the end of this week's show, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. We appreciate you all as always. Court, if people wanted to see and hear more from you, where could they do so?
For the time being, you can find me every Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. on Three Dads and a Console, or on Console Creatures, or every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern on PlayStation Generation. Not what Steve calls it sometimes when he sends us the questions. That show doesn't exist anymore.
Well, it does exist, just
it doesn't. We're not there.
Not in the same way. Rice, my dude, where can people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Streaming still on every Thursday afternoon, evening Eastern time on Twitch. That's Rice Boy with 3 Y's, RICEBOYYY TV. You can follow me on the same handle on socials.
YTV.
Come
on, you're Phil from YTV now. It's in forever.
Does that make you Sugar?
Sure.
Oh my gosh, that was deep cuts.
Dude, you gotta get the Retro Kid shirt now. You need to get a YTV shirt from Retro Kid at Fan Expo.
I do.
You need that. You do need that. They're good fitting shirts too. That is a hug on the arm. They're good.
That
shirts.
Is a logo. Rice Boy TV.
Boy.
You know, YTV logo. I'm saying do it. My buddy's dad is the one who started the thing. Well, I'll get you copyrights.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Locked and loaded.
Right,
of course, you can find me here at Console Creatures. You can find me over on X at Matt_SilverSoul, and you can find my words over at But Why Though and the site here. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll catch you next week. Peace.